Welcome, art lovers, to Art Gallery Explorer, the vlog which explores and celebrates the London art scene. After about a month outside of the city, I am back in the centre of things, as you can hopefully see behind me, about to head into the National Gallery to explore a show focusing on French artist Jean-François Millet. Millet is well known as being France's foremost painter of 19th century rural life. He was massively influential on many artists, including Vincent van Gogh, who copied a lot of his works. The really exciting news is that the Angelus has made its way across the channel from the Musée d'Orsay in Paris, and that's going to form the centrepiece of what I'm anticipating is a small one-room show. So come and join me as we head inside this free exhibition here at the National Gallery in London. Well, I hope you enjoyed that exploration of Millet's life on the land from the National Gallery in London. My title for this vlog asked whether this is the best free show in London in 2025, and I think for me it certainly is the best small free show that I've seen this year. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's so intimate, only 15 works, 9 of which are paintings and 6 of which are drawings, give a really brilliantly condensed understanding of some of the big themes surrounding Millet's output. First and foremost, I said in my introduction that Millet is the foremost painter of French rural life in the 19th century. And he was someone who could produce brilliant landscapes, but also fantastic portrayals of the humans that populated these landscapes. And I was really struck in all of these works by the heroicism and stoicism that he and compassion that with which he portrayed French rural life. And this is because he came from the world he was painting. He was from rural Normandy, and the world that we see in front of us is a world that he knew very, very well. And I think in terms of his figures, he could produce men or women working incredibly hard, chopping wood, or ploughing fields, but also was managed to capture workers at rest, exhausted after a hard day's work. And so that was really, really special to see that. Secondly, there were flashes of patriotism in these works and a mysticism as well, which I really love in art, where you're not quite sure the full meaning of what you're seeing. He was a realist painter, but there is a level of mystery which also imbues these works. And I thoroughly enjoyed that. And thirdly, I love the sense of foreboding in so many of these works. Lights fading, the skies are often dark. And so in many ways, these are works for our kind of rather unsettled times, I feel. Gone are the bright colours of Impressionism, which he was working towards the end of his career in parallel with. And it's a much darker atmosphere. And I enjoyed that. There's a sense of kind of oncoming doom or impending doom in many of these works. And it was great and obvious to see the influence of Millet on Van Gogh. This work, for example, a man ploughing and another man sowing, clearly sparked Van Gogh. And I love the fact those birds in the background could come straight out of a Van Gogh drawing. And at the centre of this is the Angelus, this very famous painting that has had so much written about it, not least in a whole book by surrealist artist Salvador Dali. It's split art critics as to what it means. I was reading one review of this show by a British art critic which claims it has an undeniable erotic charge, whereas others have seen this as an incredibly pious moment and debated whether the figures standing are really carrying out the Angelus prayer or not. Because on the surface, that's what it's showing us, two rural peasants stopping work to carry out the Angelus prayer. When you dig a bit deeper, you understand that Millet originally called this work Prayer for the Potato Crop. And when it didn't sell, he changed the name to the Angelus and painted this church spire in the background. Salvador Dali was convinced that these two figures were not actually praying the Angelus, but they were mourning. And he indeed got or encouraged the painting to be x-rayed, and a small oblong shape was found at the bottom of the painting where this basket of potatoes now is, which he claimed was a child's coffin. So are these figures mourning? Are they mother and son? Are they brother and sister? Are they lovers? There's so many questions surrounding this work, and it does draw you back again and again, partly because the figures are sort of concealed by the fading light. It's good to actually hear what Millet said about this work. He said, "The idea for the Angelus came to me because I remembered that my grandmother, hearing the church bell ringing while we were working in the fields, always made us stop work to say the Angelus prayer for the poor departed." And maybe we should leave it at that, but I encourage you, if you can do, to see this spectacular work from the Musée d'Orsay in London. And one last thing as well, the Faggot Gatherer was produced in the finished in the 1870s. It was started a long time before that, at a time when Impressionism was roaring towards its peak. And I love the almost stubborn refusal to follow modern trends and produce works which appear almost timeless. So hopefully you can tell I really enjoyed this show. It's small. It will only take you about half an hour, maybe maximum 40 minutes, maybe a bit less to go round, depending on how long you spend staring at the works. So I do advise you to go and see it in combination with Radical Harmony, the new exhibition on Neo-Impressionism, where you'll be getting eye-popping colour to contrast with the muted tones of Millet. So yeah, do get along. The show is on until October, and it's a really special chance to see a masterpiece in London, which we don't usually see, as well as some accompanying works. This is the first of hopefully a regular series of Monday vlogs which reviews a show from the London art scene. So stay tuned for more of that, as well as some more shows from Hamburg and some other treats as well. Thank you ever so much for watching.